Chase Woods in Staffordshire have become a paranormal hotspot in recent years, with sightings of black-eyed children, UFOs, a grotesque pigman creature, werewolves, and of course, ghosts. Known as the Jewel of the West Midlands and an area of outstanding natural beauty, the Cannock Chase Woods are home to a wide range of wildlife and contain a rich history dating back to the Iron Age. Today they're a popular destination for nature lovers, walkers and cyclists, and recently those with an interest in the paranormal.
First things first, the woods here are absolutely enormous. In fact, they cover approximately 26 square miles, and it'd been an almost impossible task for us to investigate every inch of this impressive woodland. So, to help us out, I've drawn up a map of some of the supposed paranormal hotspots where we can focus our efforts on. The first of which is here in Birches Valley, the home of the Chase's most infamous otherworldly inhabitant, the Black-Eyed Child.
The legend of the Black-Eyed Child goes back to around the 1980s, when people began seeing a seemingly ordinary young girl in the woods, but with entirely black eyes, who would vanish right in front of them. One would expect this kind of phenomena to fall into the category of an urban legend, but interestingly, sightings of this entity do seem fairly frequent, continuing right through until present day. Internet forums, news articles and comment sections are littered with people relating their experiences with the Black-Eyed Child, many of which seem to follow a similar theme, with the witness hearing the sound of a child giggling or sometimes crying and asking for help before appearing before the witness. They're often described as being dressed in old-fashioned, ragged clothing, but other than that, appearing completely normal, save for their cold, dark black eyes. Sometimes the spectre will simply vanish just as quickly as it appeared, and other times it will run off into the woods, the witness concerned for the child's welfare chasing after, being lured deeper and deeper into the forest.
Interestingly, the phenomena of black-eyed children grew up in America in the 1980s as an urban legend, around the same time as the first sightings here in Cannock Chase. Now, the idea of both of these legends growing up independent of each other, to me, seems unlikely. However, there were some horrific events that occurred in these woods in the 1960s that some believe may have spawned the Chase's Black-Eyed Child.
Between the years of 1966 and 1967, the bodies of 3 young girls were discovered in Cannock Chase, having been brutally beaten and murdered. These killings sparked one of the largest criminal investigations at the time, with over 150 officers working the case. Whilst carrying out their investigations, detectives came across a case of an attempted kidnapping in 1964 in Cannock, where a young girl was lured into a car, assaulted, strangled, and then left to die at the roadside. Luckily, an hour or so later, a passing cyclist noticed the girl, inches from death, but was able to get help, subsequently saving her life. The injuries that the girl sustained and the way she'd been so carelessly dumped to the roadside shared many similarities with the later killings, and police believe the perpetrator to be the same person. 4 years after the first attempted abduction, in November of 1968, another young girl was attacked, but this time managed to escape. Luckily, the whole event was witnessed by a nearby housewife who took down the registration of the car and reported it to the police. A man named Raymond Morris, who the car was registered to, was subsequently arrested and tried for the murders of 6-year-old Margaret Reynolds, 5-year-old Diana Tift, 7-year-old Christine Darby, and a number of other horrific crimes against children and women. Following the trial, due to the lack of evidence, Morris was only convicted of the attempted abduction of Margaret Alton and the murder of Christine Darby, a great injustice for the families and loved ones of his many other victims.
Over the years, there have been so many sightings of the Black-Eyed Child, many of which I'm sure were entirely fictional, but others, according to those involved, are very, very real. There's been a lot of suggestions as to what the Black-Eyed Child could actually be, the first and most obvious of which is that it's the spirit of one of the poor girls who were murdered here in the 1960s. Personally, I doubt this simply for the fact that many people who have seen the entity describe it as wearing old-fashioned, almost Victorian-style clothing, certainly nothing contemporary with the 1960s. Others believe it to be a demon trying to lure innocent victims deep into the woods to feed on their souls. Again, not being someone who particularly believes in demons, I also don't believe this to be the case, and if it is indeed a demon, it's not doing a particularly good job, as every witness, other than being slightly unnerved by the experience, have come away completely unscathed. For now at least, the true identity of the black-eyed child remains a mystery, although it continues to be seen by visitors to the area on a regular basis. This, however, is but one of many paranormal inhabitants said to reside in these notorious woodlands, as we will soon find out.
Just over 3 miles away to the south of Birches Valley is another site steeped in tales of ghosts and the paranormal, the Castle Ring. One of the oldest areas of Cannock Chase, this Iron Age hill fort dates back to around 500 BC and was abandoned around 43 BC, about the time of the Roman conquest. The site was occupied by the Celtic Corvini tribe, their name roughly translating as People of the Horn, thought to be in reference to the horn deity they worshipped. So little is known about these people and their activities on this land over 2,000 years ago, but some believe they may have performed rituals on this site, opening up a doorway or portal to the spiritual realm, the echoes of which are still being felt today.
Of the whole of Cannock Chase, the Castle Ring seems to have the highest frequency of paranormal reports, ranging from UFOs in the skies, strange white figures seen standing in the centre of the ring, and people hearing the sound of voices chanting in an unknown language. It was on a January evening here in 2015 that a man was visiting the Castle Ring when he saw a strange figure lurking on the edge of the hill fort, which he initially took to be a member of the public. This was until it rose up off the ground and began to hover in the air. He described it as wearing a Homburg-style hat and a long dark overcoat, and like something straight out of a horror film, he said it had glowing red eyes. The man claimed that the entity seemed to lock eyes with him before drifting over in his direction, and unsurprisingly he fled the scene in absolute terror. But curiously, there were another 2 sightings that same year of something sharing a very similar description in the exact same place. Now what this thing was remains a mystery, although it seems to have kept a low profile with no significant sightings of it since. The same can't be said for another creature associated with the Castle Ring, who's been terrorising visitors to the area for decades. I am, of course, talking about the infamous Pigman.
Since the First World War, the military have held a strong presence in Cannock Chase, and although there's little evidence to back it up, some believe that government scientists working alongside the military once had laboratories in the forest here. The legend goes that during the Second World War, the scientists stationed here were undertaking some very questionable yet cutting-edge experiments, one of which was impregnating a lady with a concoction made up of human sperm cells bound with pig DNA. After 10 months, the lady showed no signs of a pregnancy, and as such, she returned home to her family, the experiment being considered a failure. Around a year later, out of the blue, and with no contact with the opposite sex, the lady began to show signs of a pregnancy. Of course, being pregnant and unmarried, and this being somewhat of a taboo thing even in the 1940s, the lady was thrown out onto the streets by her overly conservative family. She supposedly made her way back to Cannock Chase, where she gave birth to the abomination, a human-pig hybrid. Not wanting her child to become some kind of a circus freak or subject to further experiments, they took to living in the woods as hermits until her death 6 years later. Her child, however, never left and still resides somewhere in Cannock Chase today.
What a grisly, almost science fiction style story that was. Now, do I believe any of it to be true? Not in the slightest, and I'm well aware that during war times governments seem to give a green light or turn a blind eye to morality when it comes to progresses in science, but the fact remains, as far as we're aware, it's biologically impossible for this experiment to have been a success. Like all good horror stories though, something must have planted the seed to allow this legend to grow up, and I believe that may be the many sightings around here of what people describe as a pigman.
There have been too many sightings of the Pigman over the years to mention in this film. Some people have seen the creature from a distance, and others up close and personal, all describing the same thing. An enormous 7-foot tall, well-built man with a large pig-like head and snout. Many of these sightings being accompanied by a horrendous swine-like squeal that pierces through the trees. It's not clear if the Pigman is malevolent at all, although as far as I can see, despite being rather disturbed by their encounters, nobody has been physically harmed by the creature in over 40 years of sightings, and in some cases, he even seems to be more wary and frightened of the people that encounter him. What's also not clear is if this is a physical flesh and blood being, or if it's some kind of spirit or entity. Either way, it's one of the more frequently sightings anomalous beings within the area. west side of the Cannock Chase Woods is the German War Cemetery. As previously mentioned, military activity in the area goes back decades, starting in the late 1800s when training grounds for troops were set up here, continuing through both world wars, during which over 500,000 troops passed through on their way to the front line. During both of these conflicts, many prisoners of war were captured by both sides, and it was here in Cannock Chase that a substantial POW camp once stood, holding German, Austrian and a few Ukrainian volunteers captured whilst in German service. On the whole, the conditions in this particular camp were relatively good, and the men sent here certainly had a far greater chance of survival than if they were still fighting on the front line. This was until 1918 when the Spanish flu arrived at the camp, sadly many of the prisoners never making it back to their homes and families after succumbing to the illness. They, along with thousands of their fallen brothers, are today buried in the German War Cemetery, which is another location in Cannock Chase that has gained a reputation for strange events. Not surprisingly, apparitions of both German and British soldiers have been seen here over the years, walking in and around the cemetery, only to fade into the mists moments after being sighted. Perhaps one of the stranger things seen here, however, is what many believe to be a werewolf.
Whilst researching unusual experiences around Cannock Chase, I came across numerous reports of people seeing what they believed to be a werewolf or wolfman, especially around the German War Cemetery. It was here in 2007 that a scoutmaster saw a large wolf-like creature, which he said rose up onto its hind legs before loping off into the distance. That same year, a postman saw a very similar thing and said that when it stood up, it was around 7 feet tall, had long wiry hair and piercing yellow eyes. Of course, we're relying solely on eyewitness testimony for all of these experiences, and I'm yet to see anything solid captured onto video to support these claims, but there really do seem to be dozens of people that have seen some kind of creature around here. Now, what this could be is anybody's guess. Could it simply be a large dog and in a state of panic people have mistaken it for something more? Could it be somebody in fancy dress? Interestingly, there's been a lot of sightings around Cannock Chase of a big cat, most likely a jaguar or panther from an escaped private collection that's somehow managed to survive in the wild here. And could people have seen this and mistaken it for sort of a wolf-like creature? Honestly, I don't know the answer to any of these questions, but the thing that interests me is a lot of these sightings have happened in broad daylight with multiple witnesses, which almost rules out the prospect of people misidentifying their sightings.
We've looked at ghosts, a pigman, werewolves and phantoms, but now let's look to the skies, as Cannock Chase also happens to be one of the biggest UFO hotspots in the whole of the UK. For decades, people have seen strange lights in the sky over Cannock Chase. In 1988, numerous people saw 2 large triangular-shaped craft with flashing lights hovering over the woodlands. As recent as 2024, people saw 5 bright lights in the sky flying slowly over the area in a V-shape, moments of which were captured on CCTV. There have also been dozens of people visiting the area who have experienced sudden losses of time, sometimes by hours, and others who believe that they've actually been abducted and taken aboard these craft. One place that many theorise all of these sightings lead to is here, the Pie Green Tower. Built during the Cold War as part of the British government's radio communications network backbone, the tower was constructed from reinforced concrete, enough to stand the blast of a nuclear attack. Following the end of the Cold War, the tower underwent massive changes to its interior, but continued to broadcast and is still used as a local radio and DAB transmitter to this day. Some UFO researchers believe that the tower acts like a beacon for extraterrestrial craft, with dozens of reports of UFOs flying around the tower over a period spanning decades, from balls of light to disc and cigar-shaped objects seen by witnesses, seemingly at all times of the day and night. Accompanying many of these sightings are often mysterious figures seen near the tower and the surrounding woodlands. Are these ghosts linked to the area's Cold War history, or do they share a connection with UFOs that frequent these skies? We really have only touched upon but a few of the thousands of reports of paranormal events occurring in Cannock Chase. There have been numerous reports of apparitions seen all over the area, phantom hitchhikers, and unnaturally large python-like snake seen around the fishing lakes. The list really is endless. As evening approached, and with so many areas to investigate, we set out our plan of action. First, we would investigate the Birches Valley, the area most well known for its association with a black-eyed child. Following this, we'll head over to the Pie Green Tower, where strange aerial phenomena have been seen, as well as mysterious figures on the land surrounding the tower. From here, we'll head over to the German War Cemetery to investigate reports of ghostly soldiers and a werewolf-like creature, finishing up at the Castle Ring, supposedly the most haunted area of the whole of Cannock Chase.
Just arrived at the Birches Valley to start the first of 4 investigations this evening. This is the area that's most well known for sightings of the black-eyed child. Overall, it's been quite a difficult day, really. It's been on and off with rain, hasn't it? It's been not the nicest. It started off boiling hot. It was about 30 degrees up until sort of 4 in the afternoon, and then it started hammering it down with rain. So
literally until we got into Birmingham.
yeah.
Once we got into Birmingham, it poured down with rain.
Birmingham treated us with its grey weather again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dried off at the moment. We're under tree cover here anyway. But as you can see, it's not quite dark yet. But sightings of the black-eyed child have happened all times of the day and night, so it makes sense to start with it now. So we're literally just going to walk through the trail here and see if we see anything. You've got experiments to try out later as well.
Yeah, we got bits and pieces to try. And I think it's a thing, like, because we're under tree cover, it will probably get darker quicker in here than it would actually outside of the forest anyway. So I think if we just if we head to somewhere that we kind of feel has a bit of a vibe to it, maybe just post up there just for a bit and see.
And the thing is, most of
because this trail goes on a ways.
It's a long way. It's probably about a mile long. But most of these sightings of experiences have been of people just walking through here, not investigating, not ghost hunting, just coming for a lovely countryside walk. So
you're already saying on the way down, it's starting to get to that light where your eyes.
Yeah, it's starting to get to the point where your eyes are sort of playing tricks on you as you're looking into the forest. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we just, as you say, go for a walk and see if we see all.
And keep a mental map of which way we went.
Yeah.
So we don't get lost.
I mean, obviously, with any kind of woodland investigation, you've got the possibility of animals. I've already seen a deer.
There's a lot of those little.
Yeah, but you always see animals. I always miss out.
That's because I've always got an eye open for animals. But I saw a deer earlier, so they're definitely around here. Foxes, badgers, I'm sure.
There'll be all sorts. And maybe black-eyed children.
Maybe black-eyed children and maybe werewolves.
I wonder if we just carry on through here or in there.
I mean, that looks a part in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's drawing me more than down here. It's going to be fun finding that again, to figure out how we got.
Do you want the well-lit path, or would you like the dark woods?
Dark woods, all day, every day.
Into the dark woods. Should we leave a trail of breadcrumbs so we know which way to get back?
Talk of scratching.
Careful of your eyes as well. I keep looking around and suddenly finding the sticks right at eye level in every direction.
I don't have that problem. For once, I'm at an advantage.
Mate, you might look how low some of these ones are. It's certainly got a vibe to it.
Yeah.
Have you seen where all the pine needles are falling down, just clumps on the trees? Oh, it's so weird. Look up ahead. Like with here. Just like all dead birds' nests.
I think that's where the pine needles are.
Yeah, they're everywhere on the floor.
It is a bit ominous.
I think there's a part of it as well that knowing. I mean, I would say that we're quite unlikely to walk into any other people about. It's getting a little bit darker in the evening. And there's so much expanse of this that even with other people here, they're going to be spread out. This is like a cleared out area, isn't it?
probably what that danger sign was for there.
Yeah, for felling trees. You can hear them creaking as well. And also, just if you look at the floor around, the size of some of them branches that have come down.
Do you hear that?
Trees in it.
Yeah, but that's what you said earlier. Like, there's so many weird sounds with the trees creaking that it could easily sound like a child's voice.
Or even like pig snort.
Yeah. That, I mean, to be honest, if you put that and said that was on a farm, that could sound a bit swiney.
John Swiney.
But that did have that kind of sound to it, didn't it? That's a good point. But it doesn't explain the people that have seen
No.
the pig man.
But then as well, I mean, that's definitely coming from above.
Yeah. But if you're disorientated and it suddenly catches you by surprise.
You're walking along on your head.
But if that does suddenly catch you by surprise.
Yeah. If you're here on your own.
Yeah. You go, oh, it does sound like it could be a bit piggy.
Yeah.
But then the same again, I suppose. As I said, it could sound like a child's voice if you heard it at slightly higher pitch.
Yeah, there's some of them that are quite like squeaky sounds. Right or left? I'm thinking right. Down that. Is that a drop? Or is that actually above?
I like this down there.
Oh, rain.
Oh,
This looks like somewhere who could.
you've hit the jackpot with this one. I think I might have to go night vision on this.
Mine's still just about alright. Then we're still in Birches Valley.
Still in Birches Valley as far as I know, yeah.
I've switched to night mode.
But it looks creepy on this one.
It's amazing what just taking some light away does so to a place.
Yeah.
That's like your eyes are.
I'm gonna have to go dark.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Feels a bit. Down here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but all it is, I mean, it's no
Just
different than where we're walking up there, you just can't see anything.
But then again, this is a thing that we've always mentioned about. Is it the fact that you can't see as much, and it does put you more on edge? Is that does that radiate something from you which draws stuff in?
Maybe. This is terrifying. I feel like I should whisper.
Doesn't help with all the little stumps on the ground. I keep thinking they're things. I forgot he was with us then. I saw just that.
The red light.
Yeah.
God.
I put it on day mode. Turn around and see two glowing red lights.
here?
Yeah, and a guy in a hat that's quite tall.
Yeah, we've heard about him earlier in this episode.
Yeah. As it's getting darker, the atmosphere is setting in, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm still wondering if it's worth we stay kind of on this side and set up camp almost just for a bit, or go over there.
So, James, what are we trying here?
So, we've got a tone generator that can go like all the way from ultrasound, infrasound, all the way through the spectrum. And I'm basically thinking theory is that we might be able to kind of call stuff towards us. If we're putting it in those different frequencies, either that or by using those frequencies and playing them loud, it will open.
Yeah. So
Something.
potentially almost like a dog whistle kind of effect.
Yeah, and I think especially in the case of where we're trying to get like a needle in a haystack to come towards us. It's 22,000 hertz. That's
A bit higher than what we can hear.
higher than what we can hear, and in theory it should also have, I mean, any like bats or anything or birds will leave the area, so we won't have extra things from that. But it's also the fact that it's at that frequency. I wonder if that will end up doing anything where we kind of, our perception alters to be able to see
Yeah.
something. I don't know whether it should go like high or low, because low is usually the one.
Play around with it.
High seems to get rid of, like animals don't like it, sends animals away. Low seems to, like Ghost Adventures when they did the Bell Witch Cave, they went low with it.
Well, it's like I think, is it 19 hertz? It's supposed to be the ghost frequency.
So we put it on 19. Yeah, it's now 19 hertz.
That's supposedly the frequency that creates hallucinations to see ghosts. Your eyeballs vibrate and you see things. Your eardrums vibrate. It creates audio hallucinations.
This is the thing as well. Is it that it creates a hallucination of that, or is it that it
Does it create those things?
opens your ability to see it?
Yeah.
It's playing it now at 19.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm hallucinating. That is a ringing though.
Have set up the Geiger counter down there as well, just because of where we are, UFO sightings, things like that. I just thought it'd be interesting to measure it to see if there's any.
Oh, we can hear it. The little going.
Oh yeah.
Slightly.
The weird thing is, as well, because of the way sound works, that's actually really loud,
Yeah.
but at a tone that we can't hear.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
It's close. That looks a lot darker on this camera. I wonder if that's going. Oh, I just saw red lights over there. Down there.
Brake lights.
No, down here. I was going to say, if we keep moving with this going,
Where's the road?
the road's over there. I just saw a red light on the path. I thought it might be like a reflector on a post or something.
Rain's coming down again.
I don't know if it's worth we carry on moving. Now this is going, maybe it will draw stuff to us as we go. Tell you what, also what you've got is what?
Fell over. but it might
I heard
have
so. It's like
that
metallic, wasn't it?
I was going to say, with the way that the needles are hanging from the trees, it looks like hair hanging down.
Yeah.
Like someone's head with hair hanging down. And some of the branches in the trees. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if we keep going, the tone generator is still going. It has suddenly taken on like a stranger.
Yeah, but then it's that 18 hertz that's being pumped out.
Potentially.
We continued to explore the Birches Valley area of Cannock Chase for around an hour and a half, but other than a few strange sounds that could easily be explained, we didn't experience anything particularly unusual. Following this, we attempted to investigate the other 3 locations, but sadly by this point, the heavens had opened and we were met with extremely bad weather, and not wanting to damage any of our equipment, we were forced to abandon the rest of our investigation of Cannock Chase. We returned a number of months later and started the evening where we left off, investigating the area surrounding the Pie Green Tower, before heading over to the German War Cemetery and later the Castle Ring. None of these locations, however, revealed any glimpses of their paranormal inhabitants, and despite our best efforts, yet again we came away empty-handed. Although we didn't experience or witness anything unusual on our 2 visits to Cannock Chase, we certainly can't dispute the thousands of eyewitness reports from over the decades, and whatever way you look at it, there must be something out of the ordinary occurring here based on these alone. Investigating the area itself also posed its own issues, mainly due to it being such an extensive mass of land. Even though we'd narrowed our focus down to 4 areas, it was still like looking for a needle in a haystack when it came to tracking down any supernatural occurrences. Based on previous reports from the area, I really do believe that Cannock Chase is the site of some form of paranormal occurrences, but it's merely a case of being in the right place at the right time to experience them.